Welcome to Cutting Down the Nets. It is March 5th. This weekend is the end of the regular season, and as the smaller schools' conference tournaments are in full swing, we have a large card today. We have 10 games today. Oh boy. Let's avoid this situation by the end of the day. Yesterday was good. 4-2. We actually started 4-0, so that was kind of frustrating. But we got trucked on a couple bets, and it felt good to get trucked on a couple bets versus blowing 25-point leads to give up a backdoor cover. So I will live with it, and we march on. So let's briefly look at the pool for today. The game I'm highlighting as non-green is Boston College. I'm just going to sit it out. It's the final regular season game of the year for both teams. Jim Christian just got let go by Boston College. If I knew for sure that the players hated him, they might respond here, and it's a good data play. I just don't know the situation, and it's just not worth going there for me, especially with so many games on the schedule. Other games to consider, those top three, if the line moved enough, I'm probably in, but I'd like to see an at least 8 to play Duquesne, and probably going to stay away from the George Mason-Davidson game no matter what. I don't think that line's going to move a whole lot. And Loyola, I'd have to see a 16 to be in on Southern Illinois. And even then, I don't like to bet against Loyola. Those are really the only three that I see line movement putting something close. So there you have it. Game number 1, UC Riverside. Read a neat little feature on their coach this week. Basically, he was an office worker like a few years ago, and now is a head coach and might be heading to the big dance if things break his way here at the end. So my first ever asterisk shows up here because I have them favored by 19.6. The baseline projection was between 14 and 15, so still a good play, but I remove outliers, and that's not a gut decision. If they fall outside the interquartile mean, which I won't bore you with, you can Google that. I take them out of the data set, and that made Cal State Northridge even worse, which was hard to do. So we have ourselves a play on UC Riverside. No, this does not mean bet 10 times the amount on UC Riverside, but I like the play. I will play it and might play it a little stronger than I typically would. But these are teams that don't play fast. It's a fairly large number. They're on the road. I mean, there's always risk. So manage that as you will. We get this game back. It was canceled or postponed yesterday. The line opened at 11, which is what I betted at yesterday. It went to 11.5, it went to 12, and then the game was canceled. Bets were refunded. And then it showed up on the schedule for today. Same situation. These teams did not play yesterday. This is not a back-to-back. But they hung an 11.5 again, which I thought was weird because they saw the line go all the way to 12 yesterday. And it just seemed like a easy thing to just put it back where it ended. But I'll take the 11.5. Wish it was yesterday's 11, but we move on. We are Marshall. This is the D'Antoni style of basketball. Fast, lots of threes, somewhat high variance. The risk here is Charlotte's average pace is around 63 possessions a game. That's Virginia slow, if you're trying to think of it. It is easier for a pace-up team to speed up a slow team, but the risk is that they drag Marshall into this slow, sluggy game. Has Marshall been in that situation before? Yes. Do I expect it to be a 60-possession game? No. But I do think it will be a little slower than a typical Marshall game. The data takes all of that into consideration. That's why you use tempos in your formula. You adjust the national average. And I expect this to be around an average pace game, 67, 68 possessions. So Marshall has been in this situation before, but the risk there is that it does just get too slow and too few possessions. North Texas. My algo, as the kids call it, weights recent play probably more than anyone else. I don't know. Like most people do not weight it enough, in my opinion. But North Texas has shown up a couple times due to recent play. Here they are again. Put some respect on the face shield. Georgia Tech is still ahead of the market. So what I mean by that is each game that I keep putting their logo up here, or Josh Pastner wearing a face shield, I have a predicted efficiency of like 113 to 115, 92 to 94. And then the game happens, and guess what? They meet it or exceed it. So then the next time it goes up. And the market has not caught up to it. They have to at some point, but I don't think it's there yet. Not the best of spots, being on the road and covering a big number, but I don't know why the market won't catch up to Georgia Tech, and I hope it does not come tournament time. Jacksonville State finished off Murray State last night, and they draw Belmont, the #1 seed. I think it's just a titch too many points, and in surprise of the day, Jacksonville State's offensive efficiency is actually better than Belmont's. I did not see that coming. So this is a 8-point line that I locked in. I don't think it could get worse, but it depends on what people think of Belmont. They kind of held serve against SIUE, and I will go with Jacksonville State at that number. Buffalo. Hey guys, Buffalo's really frustrating. So if you watch them, it's frustrating because they clearly have a lot of talent. They shoot a lot of threes. They are extremely athletic. Fun team to watch. They also will just forget to switch on a ball screen, not close out a three-pointer, and then throw the ball away trying to do a 60-foot alley-oop. In a game they don't need to do that on. But you live and die with that. What's interesting is what you see, the data also shows, is that they can have some inconsistencies in their profile. I removed their outliers, and my baseline projection was closer to 13, 14 points, and it went down to 9.5. Still a good play, but I think the more you watch Buffalo, and I hope they make the tournament because they are a fun team, the more you watch them, you'll get it. Like, oh yeah, I could see how that team can either scorch you or give up a big lead or fall behind, whatever it may be. Western Michigan, as stated, my model weights recent play pretty significantly. I'll never give you the secret sauce of how it does that, but Eastern Michigan just keeps getting worse, and we have a light number here, and I'll take the Broncos. Game number 9, going to the beach. We've got UC Irvine coming to the beach. Shouldn't be a particularly fast-paced game, and it's just a big number. I've got closer to 6, so I will take the double-digit home beach. No issues there. Final game, back to Arch Madness. We have Valpo against Missouri State. This is something that I think could go up. So you may get a Valpo 7.5, maybe even an 8. If it went below this number, I'm out. I've got enough cards or enough games on the card. So if you were betting all these games today and then we're staring at a Valpo 6.5, just sit it out. No reason to keep going. So that's it. Big card. When we get closer to March Madness and we do the March Madness shows, give you some tips on bankroll management and how I will stake bets and how I calculate edge and those sort of things. So should be fun. Thanks for stopping by. Cutting down the nets.